Did a little shopping this week. This is kind of just a break in the 300 series videos, or 318, 322 series videos. Just to kind of show you some of the things that, future projects, things like that we're working on. This first box right here, recently picked up this, and I'll explain why I bought it here in just a minute. Hopefully it's all in there. I have not opened it. No, I did not buy anything case. At least, I don't think so. Okay. Oh, they're really down here in here. I have to say, I am impressed with the packing job from the seller. There we go. Okay. Does anybody know what this is? It's Top Link, right? So there's a Top Link. But do we know what it is? It is a Category 1, well, partial Category 1 hitch off of an X Series. Now, I already have a Category 1 hitch, so that's not that big a deal. And I already have a Category 1 Top Link. It's not a complete hitch. The tractor side hitch is not there. But what I wanted is I want these lift arms right here. One of the things I have always wanted to do is, since I have a Category 0 hitch and I have a bunch of Category 0 implements, I've always wanted to put Category 0 implements behind the X748. Like I have a plow, got a couple other Category 0 implements that I would really like to use that I have never been able to use. So what I'm going to do is I don't need these draft arms or these lift arms here, but I need these right here, and this happened to come up and it was a pretty good deal, so I bought it mostly just for these parts. What I'm going to do probably this winter, I've got to figure out how to do all the geometry and everything to get it to work right. I'm going to drill holes in the Category 0 arms, and I may have to cut these and re-weld them. I'm not sure. We'll have to see, but that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to use these lift links, because these will attach into the lift arm, the 3-point lift arm on the X748. If you look at the kits between the Cat 0 and the Cat 1 limited hitch that's available for the X Series, it's pretty apparent why you would want this style, because these will just pop right off. Meanwhile, the Category 0 style is a screw-on, screw-off. So that's the first thing that I bought. We're just going to go ahead. We'll just go over to the next box. We'll just set this back in here. And I'll clean up my mess here in just a minute. Next thing that we bought, look at this. What is this? Aha! It is a rear PTO. It's a rear 540 PTO. This came off the 455. I don't know if I'm going to put it on the 455 or the X748. If I put it on the X748, I'm going to have to modify it a little bit, which is fine. But you can see, I guess it came off of a 425. There's the wiring harness for a 400 series. I don't think I'll need that for X Series. There's a few differences between the X Series and the 4-5 series. Fortunately, some of those differences are a gear. That must be all the hardware. Here's the arm. I won't need this if it's going on an X Series. But there's a few differences, particularly in early and late X Series. That must be all the hardware, more hardware. And then here's the gear case unit. And one of those differences is in the later X Series is just basically you have to remove an access plate. Whereas in the 4-5 series, you had to remove the whole back of the transaxle. And if you look, that gear in there, you just replace that gear that's still you just replace the gear that's still right there. So I have to take the whole back off the transaxle. Now, I'm going to have to study this a little bit before I go taking the transaxle apart in the X748. Blow a mosquito off my arm. So this is not something I'm going to do quickly. But I do have it, and that is an intended goal of mine. I would really like to put this on the X748, since putting it on the 455, I don't necessarily know if that's the most efficacious use of this particular unit. But have that, so that'll be coming along at some point, and we'll be mounting it up. I'll probably get it all cleaned up. I'll probably go ahead and inspect it, make sure it works and everything. It's been off of a tractor for several years, a couple owners, so you know, we'll have to go through it and make sure it works and everything. And I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research to see if it'll fit the X748. It should. The later X7s actually had, the later X7s had helical, the gear was a different style in the transaxle, and so the newer style X's, I want to say it's about 2010, 2011, I can't remember off the top of my head, they had a different gear set, and so this kit would actually not work on those. But if I put it on the X748, it should work. Should work, being the key there. The next things we have over here. So I said I was getting the lathe, right? And so the lathe's going to go right there where that orange, shelving is right now. Or right there. One of the things I needed for the lathe, I figured since I don't know what I am doing with the lathe, I went ahead and got the grease that I need for a lathe. I didn't necessarily need 10 tubes of grease, but it was like $15 for a tube or 10 tubes for $62. So I don't know. So I just bought 10 tubes, and it's like I can always use grease. It's just Shell Gaddis S2, I guess number 2 grease, lithium grease. I don't know. I'll figure all that out later. I'm just going by what the instruction manual for the Clausing lathe says. I also got Mobil Vactra oil. I suppose you say it Vactra. This is number 2. This is whey oil. It's actually ISO 68 hydraulic fluid. That's what I would think of it as. The actual fluid for the lathe, I can use plain Hy-Gard for. I'm not sure what the difference is. I haven't opened this up yet, but I'll explore some of these for right now, and I'm sure I have read out there a little bit on all of the lathe stuff and all of the machinery oils and whatnot. The thing about it is right now I'm going for what the lathe manual says, and I'm sure over time, much like I have done with the Deere stuff, I will develop my own opinions and based on research and things like that. So that is one of those deals that, you know, for right now, I'm going with what they recommend in the manual or the replacement for that, just for my peace of mind. The lathe should actually be here this coming weekend, which is really good because I also got this. And this box is a VFD, or variable frequency drive. Variable frequency drive is basically, it allows you to take one-phase power and convert it to three-phase power. I don't know anything about it, so we're going to read. This is for a 220 volt, 1.5 kW or 2 horsepower electric motor. Seems kind of small to me, but we're going to figure out how it works, and hopefully it does work when the lathe gets here. The new 200 amp panel has power to it over there on the other side of the press, and so this is what we're going to use this to power the lathe.